So, Fred calls me up and says, "Hey man, my 2001 Dodge Stratus doesn't start. I think it could be the starter." Well, I'm going to take out both the battery and the starter and test both of them at our local auto parts store. Um, and mainly what I'm going to be using is 15 millimeter sockets to shallow socket and a deep socket and some extensions and a ratchet to remove the starter. Also a 13 millimeter socket for the battery lead to the starter. It's very important that the negative battery key will be disconnected in this when doing any kind of electrical repair. And just an FYI, it's way easier to unbolt the starter first from the transmission housing before actually removing the wires going to the starter. So let's go take a look, and I'll show you what I removed and everything else. Okay, here I am with the 2001 Dodge Stratus, and suspecting a starter issue. These starters are located right near the transmission housing here. About a 20-minute job to get it off, at least that's what it took me. To gain easier access to it, what we're looking at here is this air filter attachment, which simply has two clips that squeeze here, and the air filter hose comes right out. And these little clips here, they can be pulled back with a flat screwdriver here, and they slip right off. I've already done most of this. I've already done all of this. And then the flathead screw right here, then you unscrew and this air intake comes right off. And then this little piece here going to the air box, it's a little muffler attachment. It just kind of slips right off. You squeeze it together and it squeezes right off. And there's a little retainer nylon pin that would come out right here. And then this air box is just slipped onto two grommets underneath, and it just, if you pull right up on it, that will come right out. And then the two bolts that attach the starter, which is going to be the easiest way to get it out, is to detach the starter first. The two bolts are a 50 millimeter head that go right in here, and then there's one back in here. So what I used to get to the bottom bolts of the starter was a ratchet with a couple extensions on it, and deep socket 15 millimeter, and simply went back in under the exhaust manifold and had to turn the wrench from underneath the intake manifold, but the 15 millimeter socket will fit. Actually, it'll fit right up underneath there. Little bit of a challenge to get on there, but it'll get on there. So extensions and a ratchet will help that. And so we're going to test the starter and purchase a new one, and then we'll be right back. This is one of those no start situations where it's important really to test our battery and our starter. Now that I've already pulled the starter and I had that tested, I went ahead and took the battery in. It's located in the wheel well here. I took the tire off, and there's fasteners in here that all hold the splash guard in, but the battery's pretty much tucked way up in here. Pretty easy to get out. So make sure you test the battery and the starter when you suspect starter problems, and we're going to go ahead and put everything back in. The battery comes with a strap, and some do. You may find it easier, and it may be hard to fit unless you take that strap off, or you just take a flat screwdriver and you just pry the side handles off of the. It attaches right in here, the strap, and I just removed that with a flat screwdriver and just pried the little tabs out of the handle. And these fasteners for the battery are actually a 13 millimeter size nut, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on. These side terminal bolts, they were the negative one was actually rusted, so I went ahead. These are replaceable, and went ahead and they just push right out of the cable. And it's just a 8 millimeter or 5/16 wrench to tighten it. and we're going to tighten these up and put the fender back on. Putting the starter back on, and probably find it much easier if you attach your cables first, which is exactly the way I'm going to do it. I'm attaching this. This is the 13mm nut here that goes in the starter where the battery cable goes on. Well, I tried to make this task as brief as possible and to the point, going over the tools that would be easiest to pull the starter off. In this particular case, you saw that, well, battery was at fault. Very important and easy to test the battery first when you're dealing with no start issues or slow cranking or no cranking at all. That battery was in the wheel well, of course, and that's pretty much how you get to it, is taking off the rivets to the wheel well. Also, the starter, like I was doing, it's easier to unbolt the starter first and then bring it out into a clear spot to remove the cables first. Just an FYI, it's much easier that way versus trying to remove the cables first. I hope this video was helpful, and if you end up having to replace a starter on a 2001 Dodge Stratus, then this is pretty much how you can do it.